Hello and welcome to the 10th episode of Books and Cocktails. And today we are going where no man has gone before. The cocktail today is the aptly named Dammit, I'm a doctor, not a mixologist, kind of martini, for which we need brandy, gin, dash of vermouth, ice, cucumber for garnish, and of course a shaker. So, pretty easy to make. So, even for a doctor. It's 1.5 parts of brandy. It comes out there, so that's about 1.5 part. One part of gin. A short dash of vermouth. That's a bit more than a dash, but I don't want to get drunk right away. Shake. And off in a martini glass. And I'm getting better at quantities, it's not the full glass. Then you garnish it off with a slice of cucumber. For some reason all the Star Trek cocktails I found involve cucumbers. Probably has to do something with tribbles or so. Cheers. Yep, not too bad. Nice variant of a martini. So today we're talking the future. The book is Manu Saadia, that's the author, and the title is Trekonomics, the economics of Star Trek. So it's a book about economy and about Star Trek, non-fiction. It's available as ebook. I found it for free on the net. I don't know if it's supposed to be for free, but it's the first thing which pops up in Google when you look for it. And it's also available as paperback and hardcover, and I probably will buy the paper book as well because it's a really nice book. It's, as I said, about the economy in Star Trek, and I don't know how avid Trekkies you are, but in Star Trek Next Generation, you have the replicator where you can get a cup of tea and nearly everything just out of thin air. You get, there's no money, you just get stuff, nobody works, everybody is just doing things for fun. And so he asked the question, how does that work? And how would a society without money look like? And how would a society look like where production doesn't cost anything? So you learn a lot about Star Trek. He briefly passes on the old Captain Kirk episodes. The Captain Kirk one is more like the alien of the week, and it's more about Captain Kirk meeting hot alien babes than about society. But also there are some topics from that time, from politics and society in the stories, but not so much as in Star Trek Next Generation. He focuses a bit on the point that what he calls a post-scarcity economics. So the basic idea behind economics is some side has not enough of something and some side has too much of something, so they start negotiating and exchange something for equalizing that distribution. And that's the basic economic problem. So for example, the baker has too much bread and I don't have any bread, so I go to the baker and ask him for bread, and he says, well, you can have bread, but give me money, and so I give him money in exchange. And how would that work when nobody when nobody has money anymore, and also when making bread doesn't cost anything anymore? So I can go to my wall, talk to the replicator, and say, make some bread, and then it appears out of thin air. He goes into some details and does a kind of tour de force through various economic models, shows that it actually might work and that we are actually on the way to it. So it's a very positive book. My only critique point there is, so he says we are already on the way to that post-scarcity economics. So we have manufacturing costs which are nearly close to nothing, and we have so many people doing work for free, for leisure, like Linux operating system is programmed for free. The Wikipedia is made by people who do that in their free time. So this is partly true, but also partly manufacturing costs are so low because there are a huge group of people in Africa and in Asia working for salaries near to nothing, producing the goods we consume here. And so part of the low cost is actually human costs somewhere else. He talks about agriculture, that the productivity in agriculture has risen so much that back in the 40s it was about half of the Americans were farmer, and now it's only 5% of the Americans or something like that. And this is true, but there's also a huge cost connected to that, an external cost, and that he explains very well, the externalities in economy, so that economies work as long as there are no external parts where you can put the costs. Like, for example, carbon dioxide is an external cost which we don't pay, we don't care, so we consume fuel like crazy. But sometime later it will hit other people. And this is something he also forgets a bit in manufacturing. But it's a nice book. You learn a lot about economy, and it's also a nice view on the future and possible societies. And I think it's a very valid question to ask. How would a society without money work, and how would a society with very low productivity costs work? So without any money, so producing things doesn't cost anything anymore. And that's about it. So have fun reading that book, Trekonomics by, now that thing went to sleep, by Manu Saadia. It's which publisher? Pipertext. So it appeared on Pipertext, so it's crowdfunded. Trekonomics, Manu Saadia. Have fun.